Emotional stability equals to mental stability, which means mental and emotional health work hand in hand. In today's date, depression is a very loosely used term, but depression is a very serious condition. How many of us identify it, or how many of us are really open to speak about it? In today's episode, we learned about depression from a real life hero, Rosie Bonita Fernandez. She battled through depression, sailed through it victorious, and today is a life coach. She has her own platform called Being Beautiful, which is open to those who want to be heard, who want to be understood. Before we dive straight into the episode, once again a request. Do share our content if you like it. Leave your comments in the comment box to help us get better and grow. This is an episode on depression with Bonita Fernandez on the People Tree Show. See you on the other side. Bonita, a very warm welcome to the People Tree Show. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Finally, we meet in person.
Yeah,
otherwise it was always over the phone.
Yes.
Yeah, so we begin?
Yeah, of
Are
course.
you good to go?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I believe, whenever we go through every experience, it's a new life. Every experience teaches us a new lesson and we become better people. So it's a new beginning always for us. So I would want you to start from before being beautiful. How was your journey? How did things happen in your life?
That's going to be quite overwhelming because I'm going to speak about my personal life, and I think this is the first time that I'm going to speak about topics that I've not spoken earlier on my previous shows. It did take a lot of courage for me to decide to speak about that. It took me around 35 years of my life itself to know who I am, to understand the person that I am, and what is it that I could offer on the table. I would like to start with my failures because I think not a lot of people focus or would like to speak about their failures. But the reason why I'm choosing to speak about my failures is because that's where my success came from, or that is what made me who I am today. So, Bonita is someone who didn't know her self-worth. Okay, she was very low in self-esteem, low in confidence, someone who did not know how to receive love, but she was someone who knew how to give love. And that's because she was probably in the surrounding which didn't allow her to receive that love, or this could be her limiting belief. That's my limiting belief again, which again came from my childhood. So that was Bonita, who was before being beautiful.
Right.
And I have so many failures to speak about. I'm not sure if today's show is going to do justice about my life or my personal journey and about being beautiful, because I think this is a vast topic and a subject that I can speak about for as long as possible.
Right.
But of course, since we have a time limit to this,
Right.
While growing up as a child, I went through a lot of like an abuse. It could be emotional abuse, it was a physical abuse. So that was my first failure. And that's how that's how my trauma started. That is how my journey of being traumatized as a child began. And obviously, as a child, we don't know that we are traumatized.
Right.
And we grow in an environment without knowing that these are the things that are happening to us.
Right.
And that's how we program our mind. So basically, everything in your life, whatever happens, it begins from your childhood.
Very much.
And I think your childhood plays such a big role in your adulthood, that if your childhood is not secure, safe, and not protected, you do carry those traumas, those wounds, those hurts in your adulthood.
Right.
And that is what happened to me. That is what happened to me right from my childhood. And I only got to know this when I started carrying this traumas, or when I heard about other people speak about what they have gone through in their life, relating to somebody else's topic, or when I was reading a lot of self-help books, or when I even hear the sermon in the church, sometimes they do speak about these topics.
Right.
So that is where I could relate, and that is where I understood that, I was traumatized as a child. And I'm very sure a lot of people who know me personally today, if they're watching this, they would be surprised that I was emotionally and physically both abused.
So if, sorry to interrupt.
That's
like if you could share, at least not completely, if you're comfortable, if you could share what was it that you went through in your childhood?
Yeah, of course. So I think that, when you grow up and being a girl, there are a lot of men around you. And they do take advantage of me being small, because
Right.
I didn't have a voice at that time. So I was sexually abused as well. So
Okay.
that is one of the incidents which I think I'm going to take to my grave, because that's something that I can never forget, and it still haunts me. It is still something that bring back memories which are extremely traumatic. I do not have words to express that. Yeah, so whenever I hear any stories about something similar that I have gone through, because I'm also an empath, I tend to feel for the opposite person, and I tend to observe the person's energy as well. So, it takes me back to the things that I have gone through. So this was my first childhood trauma that
How old were you, if you don't mind me asking?
I honestly don't remember, but I was probably maybe less than 10 years old.
Okay. That's, that's an age where we really don't understand
Yes,
what it is.
yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, so then again, while growing up, I had my brother who entered my life 6 years later. And even though I love him a lot today, but at that point of time, it's very natural for someone to feel that, because, the attention moves towards it, it all moved towards him. And then again, I was made, like, I was felt that, I'm not worthy to be loved. I'm not enough as
You feel left out.
Yes, I did feel left out. And I'm sure it was not my parents' mistakes or anybody else's fault. It's just the way I felt. And I don't really, want to blame anyone, because that's happened way past many years back in my life. And because he was young and, he was growing up, the attention went there. And at a very young age, I took the role of nurturing him, taking care of him, being there for him. I think that came naturally to me now in my adulthood, because I was brought up in that way, where I had to take care of him, look after him. I think that's where I lost my childhood. I just didn't know where my childhood went, because now to think of it, I have very vague memory of what has happened in my childhood, or how I have played, or who are my friends, or things like that. So again, that was something which I felt that I'm not enough. I can love, but I don't know how to receive that love, because I felt I was not loved enough for me to feel wanted uh, in my parents' life, or I thought maybe I'm not that person. And that is something I started carrying in my teens, in my relationships, in my romantic relationships. So whenever I entered a relationship, I started carrying these wounds. So irrespective of how many partners you change, if
Right.
you do not heal from your trauma or your wounds, that pattern is going to repeat in every relationship that you enter.
Right.
And this is not something that I knew earlier. This is something that I know now. And growing up with this feeling of not being enough, not being loved, not being feel wanted, I started feeling that with my partners as well, the romantic partners that I was involved with. And that didn't lead me to successful relationships. That led to people cheating on me. And so every relationship that I was till I got married, I was cheated on. So again, I started feeling that what is wrong with me? There is something wrong with me if I'm being cheated in every relationship. What am I doing wrong? Like, why am I not enough? Why am I not sufficient? I love this person unconditionally. uh, I can give him everything that I have. Uh, I do not have conditions when I am pouring the love. Why is it that when it comes my turn to receive love, I'm not getting it? Which is why I was never receptive of love. I just learned to receive love probably in the last 1 year, to be honest.
So, Bonita, you've told us about your childhood and your teens, and your relationships. So, if you could share with us, at what age did you get married, and how was it when after you got married?
Yeah, so I got married when I was 25, okay, and I did date him for about 4 years before getting married.
Okay.
I was married for 7 years, and I got divorced in 2019. So that was a failed marriage. I don't blame him solely for this. I would like to also put myself a part of that, because I think that it didn't work out for because of both of us.
Okay.
Because normally I hear couples blaming only one person, and that's not who I am. I think my marriage played a very big role in my mental health, because again, I was not made feel wanted, loved, appreciated. Forget all of that. I think I was not even probably acknowledged that I am there. And uh, then again, there was also physical violence involved in my marriage.
Was it in the earlier phase or
It was throughout.
throughout?
Yeah,
From the time you got married?
From the time I was dating.
From the Okay, so you decided to get married to
I
someone.
I know the red flags. So because I
Okay.
was very much in love at that time, and I thought that we grow up in a society that if you are with someone for so long, if you are dating this person, or if you have slept with this person, you need to marry that person. This is the mentality that our society teaches us, or
Right.
probably not now, but back then it did. So my mindset was that, oh, I have done all of this. I've been 4 years with him. My family knows. Uh, my cards are printed and everything, but I just didn't have the guts to you know call off the wedding probably few days before, because I always knew at the back of my head that what I'm doing is not right. But I just didn't have that guidance, or I didn't have uh, my best friend actually did speak to me about it once, and she did ask me, but obviously at that time nobody tends to listen.
Right.
So I didn't pay. I just ignored her actually at that time, and So the physical violence part did continue after getting married as well, and it was not that much, but of course it's not that the quantity doesn't count. You know
Yes.
how many times I was going through it. It was just one, probably a slap on my face was enough to move my entire system in my head. And I reached a point in my marriage where I was like, this is it, this is enough. I cannot take it, because I was not myself. You know, I had lost who I was. I was a very different person that time. I had put on a lot of weight. Uh, I was just not living the life that I wanted to live. I was doing everything uh, that my partner wanted to do, or my husband at that time wanted to do.
So you had forgotten yourself.
I had forgotten myself completely, and people who actually know me will agree to this fact that I was a very different person then. I looked very different at that time as well. So uh, it's not like, you know, divorce is not something that you just get up one day and say that I want to leave this marriage. You mentally get divorced with the person much before than the physical divorce. And it's not one thing, like many people think it's cheating, like that's what, you know, a couple of people asked me, but that's not the main reason. There are so many reasons, and there are sometimes small reasons which make it big. There are people in silent divorces nowadays. I mean,
So if
I'm
you
not
could
sure.
shed what is silent. I mean, I know about it, but for our
Yes.
viewers.
So silent divorces are that people who live in marriages, but they are not married. They are either sleeping in two separate bedrooms. There's no love in the, you know, in the marriage. I think love is only in the initial days of the relationship, of the marriage, and then how you know, take it forward. Obviously nobody gets married to get divorced. You know, when you're marrying, you don't think that, oh, after 2 years I'm going to get divorced. But again, coming back to silent divorce, if you see people who are the age of our parents or that generation, I think most of the people at that age are in silent divorces. Like, they are living with their partners, or probably the, you know, the husband is somewhere, the wife is somewhere, the kids are somewhere, but there's no connection, there's no bond. They are just living because either the society is asking them to live, either there are kids involved, either there is finances involved, either there is some kind of obligation involved, but there's no love involved.
Right.
So this is what I term as silent divorces.
Okay.
And yeah, I think a lot of people choose to stay in the marriage because they don't want to go through a divorce itself, because it's a hassle, and it's not easy. Divorce is never going to be easy. In fact, the word divorce itself is quite you know, traumatic. Like, if I hear that somebody is going through a divorce, my heart goes out to them, because I had like a 2 year entire, you know, these 2 years were not easy for me. So I understand when somebody, even if it's mutual, mine was mutual in the end, but it's not easy, because you choose to live your life with that person, and then everything just breaks down.
So when did you choose to move out of your marriage? Like, when did you realize now, you know, you can't take it anymore and that's it?
Okay, now this is something that, you know, I'm not sure a lot of people would understand, but I did start getting attention outside, and I started liking it, you know, to be honest. And I know that people are going to judge me on this statement, but it doesn't bother me anymore, because I feel that because I was not happy in the place that I was, and getting attention outside, which I started liking, made me question my existence in the marriage.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I feel, I mean, I'm not justifying again, as just what I personally feel, because I work with a lot of students. I feel it's not only in a marriage, it is when, even in a family, when we are
Yes.
growing up. For example, as kids, if we don't get that love from our parents, then we tend to look for it outside.
Of course.
Maybe friends,
Yes.
we tend to have an attachment to an older person as parents,
Yes.
because we start wondering why don't we have that in our homes.
Yes.
That's something which always follows us.
Yes.
And again, I wouldn't justify it, because when you're vulnerable, you really cannot uh, understand if it's the right or wrong. There's nothing right or there's nothing wrong
Yes.
at that point.
Yes.
It's just that it's the need of your emotional health, that you tend to kind of fall towards someone who's giving you that attention. It's not just about the marriage. It's highlighted a little more when you're married.
Correct.
It's because uh, you're in a you're married.
Correct.
It's a tag that you have.
Yes.
So go on, sorry.
Correct. Yes. I think it also happens in any relationship, be it friendship, but that was my reason to, I realized that, whenever I find myself in a place that it questions me on my existence, I start doubting like, why am I required here? What is my need here? It's not serving the purpose that I am in this relationship for. And I did speak to my husband then, and I did bring up this topic, and I did explain it to him. Of course, it was very kind of him to understand at that point of time, and he did make a lot of improvements, and he did work towards, it's not only him, even me. We both tried working towards it, but sometimes two people are just not meant to be together, no matter how much the world wants you to be together, no matter how much your parents would not, obviously no parent would want their child to go through a divorce. But I always feel that it is better to be happy than to be sad and married.
Right.
Because it's not going to do anything good for your emotional health. I also want to say this, that I'm not promoting divorce. I'm not telling every couple, just go and apply for divorce, because I don't want anyone to take it wrongly. But divorce is not the end of your life. I think divorce gave me a new beginning. It gave me a new perspective to life. It opened so many doors for me, and I'm in a better place emotionally, and I'm much happier than what I was at that point of time, because at least now I'm myself. At least I can do the things that I love doing. I think that shouldn't be the case when you're married also, or your partner should allow you to be yourself. And being yourself does not only mean that throw your tantrums around or whatever. I think whatever you are as a person, you don't have to wear a mask when you are yourself. You just leave your hair down, and like today I'm just being myself. I decided that I want to speak about certain things. Probably if I was married, I would not able to talk about a lot of things. Yeah.
So now this was about your personal life. Can you share with us, when did you realize that you were going through depression? Like, what made you feel that you were going through depression?
Yeah, so after my divorce, I got divorced in 2019, and during that time, I was like, I used to continuously cry, not wanting to get up from the bed, not wanting to do basic things. I used to find it hard to even make a cup of coffee for me. I had my family around me, but I didn't reach out to anyone at that point of time, because I didn't know that I was slipping into depression. So during my divorce days, I did get in touch with someone who was a part of my life much before I got married, and he knew everything about me, but he still chose to put me through the same thing that I went through earlier.
Okay.
one fine day his wife calls me and he tells me that why are you talking to my husband? I was like, husband? I'm sorry, excuse me. I said, I'm sorry, I didn't know that he was still married. And in spite of all that happened, he chose to still lie to me for 8 months. And that is when I actually hit rock bottom. I don't think I can go lowest than what I was at that time. I was suicidal. I actually woke up one day and wanted to hang myself on the fan. I was like, I'm done. I can't take it. I can't deal with men. I can't deal with these emotions. Uh, I'm just not good enough for someone. I'm always treated as an option and I don't want to live. I lost the will of living. I didn't want to wake up from my bed. I just wanted to be lying there every day without getting up, without wanting to have a sip of water. Uh, and COVID struck at the same time. We were all at home. I had nothing to do. I used to go to sleep crying. I used to wake up crying. I used to only be crying. And those days were so difficult for me. I used to literally hold my stomach and cry because I didn't know where to take it out. I didn't know who to tell. I didn't know, not that there were no people around me, of course there were, but I think when a person goes through depression, it is their responsibility, or they need to be aware that you need to reach out first. Right. Because I feel a lot of people are not aware that if you're going through something, please reach out. Do not reach a point where you have a nervous breakdown or you are hospitalized. And I learned this through my experience. Uh, Today, I can speak about it, without probably getting a lot emotional, is because I have healed from those parts. And again, coming back to depression, I think at those days, I lived with my brother and his wife. And I really want to say this on camera today that Shamita is my sister-in-law, and she plays a very big role in my healing journey because she actually saved me. So I was in the room, I remember this day, I was in my room and I decided like to shut the room and hang myself. But I think she entered the room just at the correct time. And she seen me crying and she probably held me and she referred me to a therapist. Uh, and she was the one who told me that please seek therapy. Please, talk to a doctor. Because I was so, like my blood pressure used to be so high at that time. I used to have anxiety attacks. I was not aware of what anxiety attack was. I didn't know what was anxiety at that time. So the first time I spoke to my therapist, who's Dr. Tanuja, she helped me in calming my, mind in the first session itself.
Okay.
And she asked me if I had to take medicines, but thank God for some reason I was never on, pills at that point of time.
So was it your sister-in-law who made you realize that you were going through depression, or you were aware of it?
I was aware of it. I was just not ready to accept it.
Okay.
I think acceptance is the first step towards mental health. Once you accept that there is a problem, you need to find a solution.
Correct.
I knew for a very, very long time that, I'm not fine, I'm not okay. But I thought I was brushing it off the carpet and I thought that I could take care of it and I'm strong enough. But depression does not come to you because you're strong or weak. A lot of people have this like a thinking that therapy is only for rich people, or therapy is only for mad people, or you need to see a psychiatrist because you're mad. No.
Right.
If you are not feeling fine, you need to reach out.
Yes.
Period. That's what I feel.
Okay, so how did you begin with your therapy? Like you told us about your doctor, but how did it go? Like, understanding depression now more on a professional front. How did she deal with it with you, and you deal? How did you deal with it?
Yes, so when I reached out to my therapist, I started taking online sessions, of course, because she was not physically present there. And so basically, it was like me talking to a friend. She made me that comfortable that I had never taken therapy before in my life. So we are always scared, like how would the doctor judge, or would the doctor even judge? Firstly, they don't judge. I'm a coach myself, so it's not that we judge the opposite client. So she started asking me questions. She started questioning my beliefs. She started cross questioning what I was answering. She gave me exercises which I had to do after my session. So I took a session every week.
If you could share what were the exercises like?
Yes, so she told me, tell me 5 things about myself that I love. Today, if I ask you, tell me 5 things about yourself that you love, I think most of us struggle. But if I tell you to tell me 5 things about your mom that you love, it's very easy to speak about someone else. So the idea of it was that I did struggle with self-love. So that is the first thing that she thought.
So the exercise was more of connecting you with yourself.
Yes, self-love is the exercise that she gave me. How to know that I am valuable, how to know that I'm enough as a person, how to know that I am beautiful in the way, in my skin, in the body that I have, in my mental state, physical state that I am. She also allowed me to reach out to her whenever I was vulnerable, which really helped me. So I didn't have to wait for a session to reach out to her. Like even today, if I message her, I know that she will respond. So she allowed me to build that rapport with her.
So, like now that you've gone through this condition, you know what it is. Like when you approach a professional who deals with such conditions, like what are the stages? What do how do they look into, and when does the medicine part of it come? Because sorry to interrupt, I'm asking you because not many of us know of these things, and then like you said, either we feel it's for the rich or it's for those who are mad, or who are not mentally stable.
Correct.
So for a better understanding, how does it go?
So very recently, probably a month back, I was diagnosed with depression again. Not because something happened with me, because there were things happening around me, and me already being into mental health. One thing is good is that I'm self-aware that these things are happening, but I thought that I could handle it. But I had a nervous breakdown. I was taken to the hospital, and right now I'm on tablets. Right now, that also after so many years. The first time when I was seeking therapy, I wasn't. Right now, that's because I went to a psychiatrist. So when you see a doctor, okay, a doctor can prescribe you medicines, but when you are seeking therapy, a therapist will not able to give you medicines. So the first stage is, whenever you feel that you're not okay, reach out to a person who you can confide in, okay, without any judgment. And people should not judge you because you're reaching out. It could be a man or a woman, okay. This is not only for women, this is also for men. I feel men's mental health is just brushed under the carpet, and I have so many clients who reach out to me who are actually men, and they speak about their mental health conditions. So I think reaching out, irrespective if you're a man or a woman, you should reach out to a confidant, okay, who can hear you out. And if you are feeling good about it, and if you're feeling satisfied and you're feeling okay, then it gets resolved at that stage. But if you still feel the urge of not wanting to reach out, if you still feel that you're not okay, then you seek therapy, Okay, we have counselors, we have therapists who cannot prescribe medicines. Okay, so there are levels of mental health conditions, mental health challenges that people need to understand. So again, if the therapy is also not working, okay, then you reach to the doctor level. Okay,
That's a
and
psychiatrist.
a psychiatrist. That's where they do a few tests on you. They would do some kind of probably an MRI and I don't know what not, and then they would prescribe you medicines. But the
Okay.
first step is always self care. If you cannot, if you feel that self care is something which cannot be, it's not sufficient or it's not enough, then you reach for therapy and then you reach to the doctor.
Okay. Okay. So, what I would like to know is now you are a life coach.
Yes.
So, what does a life coach do?
So basically, I cannot prescribe medicines.
Okay.
Okay. I'm a self-discovery coach, and I do have my certifications in spirituality as well. So, if at all you come to me for any of your issues, be it your personal or your career issues or your finances, anything, I would have a session with you just like a doctor would have. But I cannot prescribe medicines. Okay. And if I understand that you need a doctor, I will immediately refer you to a doctor.
So, basically, your role is hearing someone out
Yes.
who needs to be heard,
Yes.
who wants to be heard.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Like if I find that maybe the client is having some kind of suicidal, I'm getting the signs that the client is suicidal, or because suicide is not something that we need to take at a level where we should ignore it. If a thought comes to anybody's mind, even if people should firstly not joke about it because it's not a joke. If at all somebody is talking about suicide or they are having, or you hear somebody, you need to immediately refer them to a doctor because it could happen at any time. So if at all a client comes to me and I feel that it's something that I can't solve at my level, I do refer them to a doctor.
So, is a life coach and a therapist and a counselor like kind of doing the same job?
Actually, all of them do the same job. Okay, it's just that they are levels. Okay, it's like a hierarchy that people would like to follow, or some people don't even know that. But a life coach is somebody who's easy to reach out to, because I think there are so many life coaches right now. There are mindset life coach, there are manifestation coaches, but I chose self discovery because I feel it all starts from within.
What is a mindset life coach?
Mindset life coach is somebody who will help you to reprogram your mind, your subconscious mind.
Okay.
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 So that's what a
And
mindset life coach does.
You're more into helping someone meet him or herself.
Yes, self discovery.
Right.
Because it's such a huge subject and it's such a wonderful thing to do in this world that I think if I could help change even one person's life with my work, I would really be grateful to God, and that would serve the purpose of my life.
Okay. So tell us something about being beautiful. How did it start?
So being beautiful is all about self-acceptance, being able to accept yourself the way you are, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, you're tall, you're dark, you're fair, you're fat, you're thin, whether you have good skin, you don't have, you are beautiful the way you are, and you are always enough. That is what is being beautiful is all about. And it's about, of course, it is connected to me, and I feel that we are all beautiful in our own way. You don't have to look or dress in a particular way to be beautiful. That's because God has created us.
Right.
So I feel that.
So when did you decide to begin with being beautiful? How did you start it, and how long is being beautiful out there?
So I started being beautiful in the year 2020. Okay, 17th November 2020 was the first blog that I wrote about. During my therapy sessions, my doctor asked me, what is it that makes you happy? I said, I think writing makes me happy. So I started writing, blogging Okay, that was my first step towards being beautiful. And I started writing about mental health, depression, about various topics. I still have the blog online which has all my topics. I don't write now, but I did write at that time. And then I then slowly I got into social media. I mean, again, Instagram is just a medium to reach out to people. It's a tool where I market what my work is all about. So
Okay.
I created an Instagram page, and I started posting about various topics, and a lot of people started reaching out to me, for speaking on my divorce. I did the first podcast with SYWK podcast, which is run by my brother Desmond Fernandez. So I did the first podcast with him, which spoke about my life after divorce. So after that podcast, a couple of more people had reached out to me. I did some more shows, and during those shows, I realized that I could also coach people. I could also be the person that I was looking for. Because when I was going through my depression journey, I didn't know where to reach, who to go to. So I wanted to be that person that tomorrow, if someone has a problem in their personal life, at least in my circle, that they know who to reach. Slowly, I started taking more interest in that. I started registering myself for courses, workshops. Law of attraction was the first thing that I learned, and The Secret, that book actually helped me in this journey. It helped me to change how I think. It helped me to attract a lot of things in my life, and that's how Being Beautiful was born. And I take pride in being beautiful is because that is who I am, and that is what is helps other people also.
Okay, so basically, Being Beautiful is a platform which reaches out to people uh, to hear them out.
Yes.
Whenever, like those who need to be heard.
Yes.
Okay. So now getting back to, if we are going, someone from, from wherever the person comes, maybe a middle class or lower middle class or upper middle class, uh, if we are seeking for help and if you're going to approach a therapist or a life coach, uh, like what would be the charges? Because, like you said, it's always associated with the rich.
Correct.
Yeah, so if you could share something.
I think in today's world, it is as cheap as going out for, probably a dinner, or maybe a few drinks with your friends, or probably even buying something from a mall. Like I think if you go to buy a pair of jeans in a mall, okay, I'm not talking about somebody who is not shopping in a mall. Probably those people, it is as good as, I've seen people spend like about roughly 2-3 thousand on their outfits. Right. I think if you invest that money in yourself, there's always going to be a return. So, and therapy is for everyone. It's not for a particular class. I would really request people to reach out to me on my page, and it's, I have tailor-made packages. I have, charges which would suit your, budget as well. I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this because it gives me a lot of happiness. I love helping people. I think that's my purpose in life. I just like being there for somebody and like hearing their issues and giving them a solution to it.
So, Bonita, apart from your friends and family, if you could tell us what was it that really helped you put things together? Was it like, obviously you kind of hit the bottom rock when it was COVID.
Yeah.
So social media was like the only platform people would go up to for entertainment and the other stuff. But how has it impacted your life?
Yes, it did, because I use social media basically as a medium to reach out to my people, to my followers, or people who are having any kind of mental health challenges. And I understand that social media also have the bad side of it, but I think we need to focus. We should stop comparing ourselves uh, to what we see on social media. I think that's something that is very, very important, because if somebody posts a picture, we normally like, oh wow, this person is traveling, or this person has this car, this phone, and that starts affecting our mental health. I think that's something, uh, if you're using social media, make sure you follow the right pages, you follow the right people, or the right people follow you. It's very important to when you wake up in the morning, I think most of us check our phone.
Right.
That's something which you should really not do. It's something that I strictly follow. When you wake up, at least for the first 15 minutes, do not touch your phone, because that's how your day will begin. And if you see something on social media, it's going to play in the back of your mind,
Right.
and you tend to think about it for a very long time.
Yes, because you've used social media very
Yes,
wisely. Being
yes.
beautiful is a platform where
Yes.
people can reach from anywhere
Yes.
to you.
Yes.
So it's important for us to
Yes.
use social media in a wise way, not blame.
Yes, because see, we are in a digital world right now,
Right.
and social media plays a very important part when it comes to reaching out to people. And I think people should use it for their best interest, rather than use it for something which is not helping them.
Right. So, like, I would like to ask you towards the end, like, do you have any regrets, in your whole journey?
Well, I actually just thought of this question very recently, because until yesterday I didn't have any regrets. But I wish I could learn to love myself much earlier than in my life, and I could save myself from these traumatic experiences, my depression, and knowing my self worth. I think that is something I regret, and not knowing when to say a no, or drawing a boundary. Uh, these things would really help me to. Nevertheless, I learned it after like 35 years of my life, but I think that is one regret I have till today.
Well, life is a learning process, and
It
when
is.
you learn it, uh, it's a new beginning.
Yes.
Even I've learned a lot from mistakes of my lives.
Yes.
So I feel learning is very important. Doesn't matter, where you begin from, or if it's early or it's late. Yeah, things could have been different, but it's not.
Yes.
But life is still beautiful.
Absolutely. I think that's why I chose to speak about my failures first, because it's like you start from your failures, and then that's how you taste success. If you've never tasted failure, you will never know what success is.
Yes.
Also, one thing I would like to say is your healing journey. Whenever anybody is going through a healing journey, it's not a ladder up. You will fall many times flat on your face. But you have two choices. You either be there down and cry about it, or you choose to stand up.
Right.
And I think my choice every time, no matter how many times life puts me down, I am going to stand up. I'm never going to give up. This is what I have built with so many years of my experience with being beautiful, learned from my depression, from my life. And because some people think that healing is something which is it's easy. You just climb the ladder up. No, you will climb, you'll fall, you'll climb, you'll fall, but eventually you will reach there. It's going to be messy, but trust me, it is very beautiful on the other side of your fear, and once you are healed.
Right. So, before we conclude, what is your message for my viewers?
Well, I think that everyone should learn to accept themselves the way they are, irrespective of what their social status is, what they look like. or how they feel about themselves, please know that you are always enough for yourself and do not seek validation outside.
Right.
You are the only person who should validate your feelings and yourself, and your self-worth is not based on other people's opinion.
Correct.
It's based on how you feel as a person, and that should be enough for you.
Absolutely right. So what I always keep telling my students the same thing. Do not seek for for validation from outside. You need to value yourself.
Absolutely.
Secondly, what I learned from my life, and again I learned from you today, is emotional and mental stability go hand in hand.
Correct.
If any one of this goes off, everything goes off track. So thank you, Bonita. Thank you so much for giving us your time and sharing your experience with us, because not everyone is open about sharing this phase of depression. They shy away, or because they think, what would someone think about me?
Yeah.
But you had the courage to come out and speak and share your story with us. So thank you for your time. Thank you for making it here, and I wish you all the luck for your future.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and wish you all the luck, and hoping to work with you soon. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you found the video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also hit the bell icon to keep up with regular updates.